Calgary Police Service have located the skeletal remains of Ryan Lane, who was reported missing in February 2012. Lane, 24 years of age, was last seen in the early morning hours of Tuesday, February 7th near the 5200 block of Country Hills Boulevard Northwest. For investigative reasons how, where, and when Lane's remains were found are not being released at this time. As we have said previously, we believe Lane met with foul play. His death has now been declared to be a homicide, Calgary 17th for 2012. Charges of first-degree murder are anticipated against 3 suspects, 2 men and 1 woman, who are believed to be involved in Lane's death. Anyone with information regarding Lane's death is asked to contact the police or Crime Stoppers anonymously if they feel. And I'll take your questions.
Can you tell us when arrests would happen? Or why they haven't?
So this is an ongoing homicide investigation. So we're still involved in the investigation. It's hard to predict exactly when arrests will happen.
Is it kind of a fear? Obviously, the people out there that did this know that they did it. Is there any kind of a fear of flight risk, knowing that you're moving forward?
Again, that's part of our investigation that we're having to monitor on a daily basis.
What happens now with the investigation?
We continue to put the final pieces together. I'm sure you can appreciate this is a very complicated investigation, a very complicated case. We've had lots of consultation with the medical examiner's office, consultation with the Crown Prosecutor's office, and that leads us to the point where we are today.
Have you talked to Ryan Lane's family?
Yes, we have. We've spoken with the Lane family. For your information, we're going to make them available to you tomorrow. Because of that, they've asked that to please respect their privacy until that time. And we're setting up the exact time, but we'll make them available for you tomorrow.
Can you say just, obviously this must have been a big relief off their mind just to see things moving forward. Can you say the reaction when you talk to them today?
I think that they're relieved, encouraged, disappointed, all emotions like that. I don't want to put too many words in their mouth, and that's why we're going to make them available for you tomorrow.
Can you speak to the nature of the relationship between the victim and the suspects?
And again, that's an excellent question, but right now I just can't answer that or elaborate on that. We're hoping that in time we're going to be able to speak to these things a lot more than we can today.
Are they known? The suspects, all 3 known to Lane? Are any of them strangers to him?
Again, I don't really want to elaborate today on exactly who they are in relation to Ryan Lane.
Sorry, just looking to elaborate why. I'm sure you have your reasons for this, but I'm trying to figure out, because you basically say, here's the people we're going to arrest pretty quickly. But like Nancy said, is there a risk? If there's no flight risk, is it just that you've got a close eye on them, or they're already in custody, or why offer that much information without actually having made an arrest yet?
So that's an excellent question. So we are in the process of putting together a first-degree murder charge. We believe that his attack, his incident, is a targeted attack, that it's not a random attack. With that, we do want to, as a police service, we want to make sure the public is aware when we're involved in a homicide investigation. Part of our release today is to confirm that this is a homicide. It is Calgary 17th. We usually like to come forward and get that information out to the public as soon as we can.
Is the timing of today just because you got, forensic results back from a lab today, or?
Again, just to my previous response, when we are in a position to categorize something as a homicide, we don't feel that's information that we want to keep, that we want to get that message out. But
have you gotten results back? Obviously, to be able to identify the remains, you must have gotten some kind of results.
Yes. So the medical examiner's office has been an assistance to us in this investigation.
Can you comment on whether these remains are connected in any way to the discovery RCMP made in Cochrane?
Yes, and again, thank you for asking that question. It was a point that I wanted to clarify. This is not in any way related to the remains that were found in Cochrane.
Can you tell us if the remains were discovered by a member of the public or police?
At this time, I can't.
Can you say, the searches finished now, or are you still conducting searches for further information and evidence?
I think at this point, our search is finished.
Can you say, do you even have a total on the hours that you guys spent searching?
We do have that, and we'll be able to provide that. I just don't have that information with me today.
Maybe in just general terms, just can you kind of speak to you know, like this has been a complicated case with huge hours put into it.
I think at the time the area that we set out to search was over 10,000 acres. I think it was closer to 13,000 acres.
Can I ask, so you said that your search is over and you have suspects and you're anticipating charges, but you're asking people for more information. Is there anything, like, what are you...
Again, these investigations go on. As a police officer, as an investigator, we don't know how many pieces are in the puzzle. So that's why we continually ask for the public's assistance. There's quite often there's people that have information that don't think it's relevant or think it's too small or not related and they don't want to come forward. So this message for the public to come forward with anything we usually put out. Now that we're kind of taking an aggressive stance today, that fact alone may bring people to come forward to try to help us with the final few pieces that we need.
Can you say, have you talked to all three suspects?
I'm not going to speak to that.
Do all three face first-degree murder?
Yes.
And would that necessarily mean that they were all hands-on involved, or that they played different roles?
So again, we're making the designation of first-degree murder, which usually speaks to intent and premeditation.
So to clarify, just what you're saying to Colleen, are you saying that one of the reasons you get this out there, you're still looking for other information, but then people who may have been nervous about coming forward, if they know that you've got suspects in custody and arrests are imminent, they're going to be more comfortable coming forward?
Yes. It's not uncommon for us to find situations like that.
We clarify, sorry, we don't have anyone in custody.
Would you still categorize these three suspects as all uncooperative?
Yes.
How does, just to clarify, first of all, when you say that you won't say when you found Mr. Lane's skeletal remains, we can say recently, though, right? This isn't something that happened like 8 months ago or first week of the investigation.
Again,
recent is accurate.
Again, today, unfortunately, that's as specific as I can get. In the future, we will be able to, I think, better define some of these questions, but for today, unfortunately, I can't.
Can you give any kind of a time frame, like days, weeks, months, as to when an arrest would be, or is it pretty imminent?
No, I can't at this time.
The fact that when you found his remains, they were found with skeletal, does that hamper the investigation or the quest for answers? I mean, are you able to tell how his cause of death, or how does that affect your investigation?
And again, that's not something I can clarify today. We will in the future. I just can't today.
Can I just ask, so earlier when you said you're taking an aggressive stance today, do you mean that making it leak or more information?
I think by coming out and saying that we're looking at 3 people, 2 men and a woman, and we're contemplating first-degree murder charges, and that's the avenue that we're on. I don't think it's often that we do that, and so that's why I categorize that as kind of an aggressive stance today in this situation.
So is it like a warning to somebody, or?
No, it's just more of an information thing.
Because these people, they obviously know who they are, and they know that you feel that they're suspects, correct?
Have they been told that they're suspects?
They're aware of who they are. They're aware that we know who they are.
So I think you're asked this, but are you able to see if they are in custody right now for anything other?
No, they're not in custody.
Do you believe that you know about him for why Ryan he started?
And again, today I can't speak to that. We're getting, at some point in the future, I will be able to, and I will.
Can you say if they're in Calgary?
Again, I'm not going to speak to that right now. I think, just in conclusion, again, we're trying to make the Ryan Lane family available for you tomorrow. They've asked to respect their privacy until that time. And again, if you come back tomorrow, just again, a bit of just remember the kind of situation they're in right now. And so thanks.